Hey, what's up you guys? It's your girl Jackie here and I am back with another video. So I wanted to jump right into this look, guys. I wanted to show you how I achieved this super gorgeous aquamarine cut crease. So if you're interested in knowing how I achieved this look, keep on watching. So for base, I'm just applying my P. Louise Rumor 2 base all over my eyelid and then blending that out with my Morphe 167 brush. I really want this eye look to pop, so that's why I chose this base to use, because I know the colors will be more vibrant. So the first shade I'm using is out of the Profusion Wanderlust palette, and that shade is called Enigma. And I'm placing Enigma in my crease, and I'm using patting motions. I am not swiping at all. And the brush that I'm using is my Morphe M506 brush. So once I've placed that color down, I'm now going into my Profusion Festival palette, and I'm picking up that blue, and that blue is called Wavy. I'm going to place that blue slightly on top of the darker blue, which is the first shade, and work it up. So the brush that I'm using is my Japanese 725 brush to do so. And again, I'm just tapping that color onto the lid, and then once I get it to my desired shade, I'm going to go ahead and start blending it upward. When placing down that blue, I wanted to make sure that I was getting rid of that harsh line that I created with the first shade. So that's why I'm continuing to pack that blue down, so that way the line somewhat disappears. And then once I see it start to disappear, then I start to blend it out. Okay, so now that that's blended out, I'm gonna go into the Festival palette and I'm gonna pick up that aqua green color and place that right on top of the blue, just to kind of diffuse that color and get rid of the harsh lines. You don't want any harsh lines at all. I want this look to look very airbrushed. So the brush that I'm using to place this color and blend it out is my Morphe M514 brush. And you're just gonna wanna keep blending it until you see the colors basically fade into one another. So as you guys can see, I cut my crease off camera, but the brush that I use is by Crown Brushes, and it's the C224 Oval Concealer Brush. Now I'm just smoking out the corners of my eyes, and I'm starting with that first shade that I used on my lid, and that shade is out of the Wanderlust palette, and it's called Enigma, and I'm placing that shade down with my Morphe M506 brush. Now slightly overlapping, I'm going to go into the Festival palette and pick up that blue, and I'm going to place that slightly on top of it, but bringing it forward into the inner portion of my eye, and I'm using my Japanese 725 brush to do so. And now for my main lid color, I'm going to be going into that pretty aqua green, and I'm placing that with my Morphe M514 brush. And then I'm just going back and forth in between the colors that I already used, just to make sure that everything is blended. And now for the inner corner, I'm going to be using that really pretty white shade out of the Wanderlust palette, and it's called Illusion. And I'm just going to place that in the inner corner of my eye just to give it a slight pop. So I decided I wanted to add a little bit more, so I'm going into that really pretty green at the top. I don't know the name of it, but I will have it listed below, and I'm just going to place that in between the white shade and that aqua green shade, just to give it a better transition. So moving on to the liner, I'm using the Essence Beauty liquid liner, and this is the Matte is Black liner. Really good liner, guys. It only cost a few dollars, very worth it. And the applicator is amazing. So this is like my go-to now. I love it. It's just that I always mess up my liner when I'm trying to record. So yeah, as you can see, I was messing up and I had to cut it out. So I'm just applying my lashes here, and the lashes that I'm using is my Miss 3D lash. I do not know the number because I threw the package away before I got a chance to write it down. But yeah, so I'm just applying a little bit of mascara, and I'm not really picky with my mascara for the simple fact that I wear falsies all the time. So it's just a 24-hour waterproof mascara. So moving on to the face, you guys saw I moisturized my face with my Pond's moisturizer. And now I'm just applying my Hard Candy eyeshadow primer to my smile lines, and this prevents creasing. And then I'm gonna apply a very thin layer of Calamine lotion to my T-zone, as well as around my mouth where I see creasing as well. This really helps with my creasing. So I'm just gonna apply a very thin layer and move on to the foundation. So the foundation I'm going to be using today is by Black Opal, and it's the True Color Pore Perfecting Liquid Foundation. And the color that I'm using is Nutmeg. And this foundation is really good for me in the summertime. It's light to medium coverage, but it has a matte finish, and it just matches with my tan. So to highlight under my eyes, I went in with the LA Girl Pro Concealer, and I actually picked up the wrong one. I thought I picked up Pure Beige, but this was actually Warm Honey. So it wasn't looking right to me. So I went in with my Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer in the shade Natural Sand to correct it, and it worked out perfectly. So I'm just applying a little bit of that on top of the other concealer, and then I'm going to go ahead and blend it out. So I decided to let the concealer set just a little while longer under my eyes before I blended it out. So I'm going to move on to my contour, and I'm using the Black Opal True Color foundation stick in the shade Hazelnut for my contour, and this is like the perfect shade for my contour. I absolutely love this shade. It gives me that natural look. It's not too much, it's just the perfect shade. Now that that concealer is blended out, I'm going to go ahead and set with my Black Radiance loose powder. And the brush that I'm using is my Japanese brush. I will have the number to the brush listed down below, but it's perfect for setting powders. It gets in where you need it to get in. And yeah, it just gives you that flawless look. So I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but once I finish setting all those areas, I clean the brush, and I'm going to use the same brush to blend out my contour. This is like one of those brushes where you need several brushes like it because it can be used for so many things, and it works perfect for everything. So I'm going to go ahead and bronze up this face with my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark Deepest, and the brush that I'm using is the Japanese 960 brush. Okay, so now I'm just tapping in any of that excess setting powder. I'm just tapping that into my face. I'm not swiping it at all. Do not swipe, it will mess your makeup up. Now I'm just setting the rest of my face that I haven't touched, and I'm using my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark. And the brush that I'm using to do so is my Japanese 962 brush. So moving on to blush, I'm using my Peach Sparkle by LaFemme, and the brush that I'm using to apply is the Japanese 961 brush. You guys can see the Japanese brushes are like my thing. I purchased them at Marshall's and they were like dirt cheap, but these are some amazing brushes. Go to your local Marshalls or TJ Maxx and see if you can find some. So I'm just setting my face with my Pearl Essence Rose and Coconut Setting Spray, and then I'm gonna go and apply my highlighter. And the highlighter that I'm using is the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter in the shade Molten Gold, and I'm just applying that to all the high points of my face. And of course, you know I do like to highlight my forehead just a little bit. And then moving on to the lips, I'm lining my lips with the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner. I promise you guys, this has been out for a minute and I have never used them until now, and I absolutely love this liner. The color that I'm using is called Cold Brew, and it's almost like a dupe for Cork, Max Cork. It's perfect. It just goes on a lot easier. It just glides on. So I'm applying my favorite liquid lip color by Victoria's Secret. You guys know the shade Innocence. I feel like it goes with every look. I'm like a girl that loves a nude lip. So I wanted to add a little bit more pink to the lips, so I went in with Revlon's Ultra HD Lip Lacquer in the shade Pink Diamond, just to give it a slight sparkle, and I only placed it in the center. And now I'm just finishing up with my Morphe setting mist that I absolutely love. And this is the completed look, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Drop a comment down below, and most of all, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.